Mr. Richard Ashcroft, he came in to see us a couple of weeks ago. He's burning a hole in my pocket this one because he's a brilliant interview. He was the full rock star when he came in, turned up with a little bit of an entourage. His manager Steve, his Mrs. Kate, who goes everywhere with him, and he turned up ready for battle as well because he had an awful lot he wanted to say. He's got a lot to talk about. New album coming, Natural Rebel. The new single's pretty special too, Surprised by the Joy. So he turned up, camouflage jacket, in the sunglasses, in the Radio X session studio. So you've got a bit of entertainment lined up here, half an hour in the company of Mr. Ashcroft. So turn the radio up, get that cup of tea on, and enjoy Mr. Richard Ashcroft. I'm Gordon Smart, this is the evening show on Radio X. We are in the Radio X session studio right now, and the wonderful Richard Ashcroft is joining me. Alright, mate?
Alright, mate, yeah, good.
It's great to see you.
Thank you very much, yeah.
This feels a wee bit like Mastermind right now.
It does, yeah, it's very dark, it's good. I like it. I like anything filmed with a black backdrop. Always
That's the way to do
like
it.
jumping jack flash video, you know.
If you were on Mastermind, Richard Ashcroft, what would be your specialised subject?
It wouldn't be music, because I'm terrible with names, and I'm also musically, you know, I ain't got a degree in that, but I don't know what it'd be actually. I'm not sure. I've got such a varied, eclectic mind. I haven't focused on one thing. I've never actually focused purely on one thing. Been completely open.
New album, Natural Rebel. Great title for an album. You're saying you're not an expert in words, but that's a cracking title, I think, for an album.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it is. I think it sums up a lot of us, a lot of me, my fans, and how a lot of people are feeling actually at the moment, because it's like, you know, going against the grain in a way, and I think mainstream sort of is consumed so much, and I always enjoy people who have the ability to join in and fuse with the mainstream, but are coming from a different place, you know, and that's all the Natural Rebels. Every one of my, you know, people I admire musically are people who've kind of been born and naturally rebellious, do you know what I mean, to go the other way or try a different thing. And sometimes in your career you're definitely going to hit a wall. You're going to hit times when you're either ahead of your game, you know, your experimentation might go, you know, a bit awry, who knows, but it's the fact that you keep on being yourself, not listening to people, doing your own thing, and I think that's it. That's what a Natural Rebel's about.
Are you still a rebellious man? Because I know you've got great order in your life, like your Mrs. Kate, she wears the trousers, keeps you on the straight and narrow. Do you do anything rebellious around the gaff? Are you rebellious in your own life?
That's like I say, it's like the time, it's natural for me. I don't need to list things, it's just, you know, some person's mind, it might be, oh, that's rebellious, but to me that's just the way it is. I don't like, and never have been, like put in a spot, or I don't like rules and regulations that don't make sense, or I don't like, you know, that kind of, I always want to break out of that box. You know, the joy of being able to make music is about, and express yourself in that way is one way of getting out of this sort of sense that we're all so confined in a way, emotionally and every other way, you know. It's like, that's really what it should be about. You know, for me, I just want to like represent, you know, and make music for people, my fans, that inspires them, and you know, the artist music in the world is stuff that's uplifting. Yeah. You know, it's so easy to write a dirge. That it's just like, wow, that guy was depressed. Well, what do you feel like when do you ever feel good? Do you ever, has there been anything happening in your life that's made you feel like full of love or anything, or do you spend your time in that state of mind? So for me, I love music that represents all of the gamut of emotions that we go through.
You've been dead clear about this album. It's your 5th solo album, and it's for the fans, right? When you sit down with a guitar and you're writing a song, could you describe the fan that's in your head that you're writing for?
I'm not, you know, I'll make it clear, I never write for the fans.
Right.
But when it comes to dedicating who is this album for, who at the end of the day, you know, I've dedicated the albums to my family, my wife, my children, you know, and that's you know, and ultimately in my mind and my heart, that's who this album's dedicated to, as well as the people that support you, and when I see them, you know, it's to check them out on Instagram. Someone's got a couple of dogs on a beach somewhere in like Brazil or Argentina or wherever, and he's got his young kid and he's saying, hey Rich, you know, check my family out, check my life, check what I've got together. To me, that's a really positive thing.
I listened to the first single from the new album, Surprised by the Joy, this afternoon, and the first thing I thought was like, wow, that's got a bit of Fleetwood Mac about it. This is great. I think it's Ashcroft, you know, delivering what we want from you. It's a fantastic song. So this is the first single from Natural Rebel. This is Surprised by the Joy on Radio X. Right, Richard Ashcroft is here, just played the first single there, Surprised by the Joy, releasing another tune back out into the world. It's exciting times, mate, isn't it? Fifth solo album. You've just come off tour with Liam Gallagher as well, so if you managed to recalibrate and get yourself back into normal life, have you reintegrated into society quite easily after that madness?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the shows I've played this year have been of a certain size.
Yeah.
Whether it be with the Stones, Old Trafford, Stones at Murrayfield, you know, Roger Waters, Hyde Park, nearly, you know, even the ones I've done on my own in Europe, every one has been, you know, 30, 40, 50,000. And again, I'm just very lucky that at some point in my life I tapped into some sort of timeless theme that allows me to walk on the stage and play stuff before anyone in the world. It don't matter who you are. And that's the thing, it's like, you got to be pretty confident to go on after me.
Yeah.
You know,
got to be a big act.
And you've got to have the artillery, I call it, and the artillery is your songs.
The canon is there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless it's a dance event or something, or it's a different kind of event. But if you've got 50,000 people all gathering and all getting further and further inebriated and bladdered and they want some tunes, you know, you better be delivering if you're going on before Liam or... You know, I used to get that with Oasis, you know what I mean? I've spotted Oasis on my own. Yeah. And I've said that to them before. You know, I reckon I'm the only solo male guy in the world that can walk on before Oasis.
Yeah, get that crowd right and warmed up.
Yeah, and be in the spirit of it and also, like, not shrink in those moments, but actually, you know, embrace it and all that. And they know that, because we're all part of a similar, audience-wise, you know, I'm part of them as well, because, you know, I was a fan of that band as well, so I understand. I was a fan of the Roses, you know, I am a fan of the Roses. I understand what it's like to love a band and be passionate and make your way to the front and feel that energy. So what was interesting about them gigs was reigniting that again in people, and the people who never experienced that having a little taste of how crazy it was back then.
How different is it now compared to that back then?
It's different gigs. I think ultimately the saddest thing is just the fact that, you know, I think the musicians now and the artists need to regain the power again over the event, because it's the musicians who get blamed constantly for the fact that there was a 4-mile long beer queue or we got herded out like cattle. You know, so there are certain gigs I've done this summer where I'm like, this is out of order. Because when it's a big gig and people have been looking up for, say we played Dublin, Belfast together, you know, they're looking forward to that for a long time, and it's like, they were great gigs, but they could have been better. So if it's your party you're organising and you'd have done, straight away you'd have been like, Dublin, you'd have been, PA needs to be 7 times bigger. You know, do you really think that's a long enough time to have 35,000 people in a field, you know, just with beer all the way around the outer rim? And it's just all about making that go off the beer. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I know what you mean, totally. So I think we need to regain the power, and we need to get more involved in how these events are actually like organised, because it's our name that gets blasted afterwards. Yeah.
We just mentioned there, Richard. Here's a little bit of Oasis for you on Radio X.
Fantastic.
Richard Ashcroft is here.
Hi.
As always, talking an awful lot of sense to me today, Mr. Ashcroft. Now, I need to speak to you about something, right? For years and years, people would borrow urban hymns off me and never give it back. I've bought it 6 or 7 times, so I've put a few quid in your pocket.
That's 6 quid out, you know.
At the same time, though, have you been that guy that hands out records? Are you a man who lends your music to people?
I have in the past, yeah.
People good at returning it?
I think books are a big one like that.
It's true, isn't it?
And the thing is, with a book, it's different to music, because I always feel like a book has to be exceptional, or you have to give it a certain amount of time before you revisit it.
Yeah,
whereas a record, you could be having it on for the next month.
Exactly, yeah.
Or the next 6 years.
Yeah.
So when someone doesn't give a record back, they're giving back something that you know you've already missed potentially X amount of plays. So it's a different thing. But there are rules. Yeah, books. There's a lot of books and that, and you know I've borrowed loads of back in the day when I had no money. I was always borrowing clothes, and I was the guilty party. not giving clothes back, you know.
You've got plenty of clothes now, though. I love talking about your clothes.
I'm fine on the clothes, so I've got,
Doing all right
got the other problem now, yeah.
Okay. More from Richard Ashcroft in just a second.
Guess how many MOTs QuickFit did last year? It's over 700,000. And if yours is due, then we're here to help. We've got over 500 MOT centres across the UK, and there's slots available to book right now. So head down to your local QuickFit today, or visit quickfit.com to book online, and drive away happy.
That is Sonnet on Radio X. From Urban Hymns, an album that I've bought at least 7 times and had borrowed from me and never returned. You've already heard from Richard Ashcroft this evening talking about that, lending music, lending books. You've heard him talking about political musicians and wrestling back the power of those big gigs that solo musicians put on in huge, huge fields. Here is Richard Ashcroft now, talking about his back catalogue. You've got this rich canon of music now, but if you got one particular favourite, is there one song from your, solo stuff as well, the 5 solo albums, is there one that stands out for you?
Not really, because it's, the only way I could answer it would be like, okay, which one out of those tunes sums up that feeling?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, looking out of them all, you know what I mean? I'm looking back, I'm like, I got a new song on this album called That's How Strong, and then I go through things that people probably don't even know, like Brave New World, and the ones they do know, Sonnet, and those songs really, they're so powerful that they're beyond me, and I think that's the exciting thing. It's like, what's good, I'm in a position now where each drop of new material just sort of, for me and the fans and what I do live, is just makes the problem with the set list. It's like having an incredible team.
I remember speaking to who'd you drop?
Yeah.
I remember speaking to a footballer about it, and he said to me that before he started any game, he had to have at least one shot with the right foot, one shot with the left foot, and a header. Before you play a gig, right? Do you have like a go-to thing you have to do before you go on stage?
Not really. It's just a very internal thing, so there can be people around me, but I just go very within myself and withdrawn, and ultimately I think it's more just preparing for what I'm about to give, and it's no big deal. I'm not a fireman or anything like that. I'm not even I'm not a boxer or anything, but I think if you're doing anything where you're digging in and you're going there, because at times, for me, this is why doing what I do, certain other acts have done it in the past, it's beyond everything as a performance, because it's gone beyond acting. For a lot of acts it hasn't. It's remained at that level as a performance. So what I do is beyond acting, it's beyond performance. It's everything all combined to create something that is tangible and real in front of people's eyes, that they can actually feel that energy. So, for me, that's the thing I'm aiming at for the future, is like carrying on. There's no great highlight. They're all like part of the same set of massive jumble of emotions that we all go with, and I'm trying to define them a little bit, bring them down into music, because they're all just there in our heads. It's like, and sometimes you hear a tune and you're like, bang, you got it. Like going back to the Roses, She Bangs the Drums, the first time I heard that, I'm like, how did you get that morning breaking dawn, everyth's going right feeling, like,
magical
still on the grass, sun's rising, my life's good, to get that. And that's what we're all searching for, I think, is to grab down those feelings and put them down forever.
That is your job.
I'm aware now that so many artists, man, it's like if they can't write a song, or they can't sing, or they can't play, they end up being like kind of like semi-political leaders, or believe they have to have a million causes to hide the fact they can't do the very thing that we want them to do. It's like when the day when Beckham was putting in the crosses, it's like you used to have people going, yeah, but he can't do it. He can't string 2 sentences together. I'm like,
doesn't matter.
Just put it on the guy's head, and then he'll edit in, and then we're 1-0 up. I don't want Shakespeare. And what people want from me is like what I didn't want from, say, if I was a Sinatra fan or an Elvis fan or any of those guys. I'm not really that interested, really. Even though Sinatra got very political with JFK, and that didn't turn out well for him, but people got political, but not like these days. Not like ultimately, if someone's paying hard-earned money to see me play live. They don't want a rant about what's happening on the other side of the world, or they don't want to know, like, which way they should vote. The whole essence of me playing Barrowlands is the fact that we've left all that behind.
Yeah.
We don't give a crap.
Yeah.
That paradigm has been broken, smashed by music and an artist. You know, that's where music is power. That's what we forgot. So all these artists and actors and everyone with all their opinions and all their, like, little speeches and this, that and the other, go back to what you were supposed to do. Go back and entertain the world. And it doesn't have to be candy floss entertainment. It can have some depth, but just do it via the vehicle of what we paid.
Music is power, Richard Ashcroft. It comes back to that every single time. Right, just for Richard Ashcroft as well, because we love it as well. We're going to have some Stone Roses right now on Radio X. She bangs the drums. What a tune. What a tune. On the evening show, if you missed any of that interview with Mr. Ashcroft, you can listen again online or download the Evening Show podcast this Friday when it'll be up. Thanks very much for the messages as well. Shelfside Spurs on Twitter says he even makes an orange turtleneck look cool. Legend. And Hornsey John as well. Richard Ashcroft, absolute legend. Make sure you're listening for that podcast on Friday. It's all up there if you want it. Right, some new music on the way on the Evening Show. You can hear the new one from the Coral and the latest one from this mob. And there's still boxes somewhere with Gary Lightbody poetry.
Yes, there are. And they should get a Viking funeral very soon.
Mr. Gary Lightbody and the Snow Patrols coming up next.
Radio X. Sense off.
It's on Radio X. I'm Gordon Smart and this is the Evening Show. Now, a couple of weeks back I got to speak to one of my favourite bands in the last 15 years or so, the Coral. What a band they are. Brilliant lads as well. They came into the studio to talk about the new album Move Through the Dawn, and I'm going to play you the new single from that album in just a second. But I just want to say I'm reading Nick Power's book at the moment. It's called Touching the Void, and it's all about life on the road with the Coral, and it's already making me chuckle. It's a great read. If you haven't seen it, go and have a look. So here it is. This is the latest one from the Coral, and it's brilliant. Exactly what you expect from it, exactly what you hope from it. It's brilliant. Reaching out for a friend.